actually embarrassed by how much time I've spent scrolling on TikTok lately. It is wild. So I decided I'm going to swap my time scrolling on TikTok with reading until I can like read the amount of time that I spent scrolling on TikTok last week. So if you guys don't know, you can go into your settings and see exactly how much time you spent on every single app. Don't even get me started on how much time I spent on other apps, but we're gonna start with TikTok because I feel like it's a really good starting point. If you guys go to your, let's see, your settings in iPhone, then click on screen time, and then I think you go to see all app and website activity, and it'll show you like app by app how much time you spent on every single one. So if I check last week, I'm gonna show you guys like a little picture of how much I've spent on TikTok. It is wild. I literally have spent 7 hours and 40 minutes on TikTok last week. Like, I don't know why I end up spending so much time scrolling on an app. Like, I genuinely could not tell you, because I do like work obviously on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff for work, but I am not spending that much time like working. Like, I literally am not. And I found myself like picking up my phone more often than not instead of reading. And last month I read, I think 10 books, which is great, like, because reading is reading. It doesn't really matter how much you read, but I know for me, I typically read between like 15 to 16, 20 books a month, and 10 is a lot less. And I noticed that like, instead of picking up a book, I pick up my phone and scroll. So this is the start of like trying to get back to reading instead of scrolling. Not that scrolling is bad or anything, but I just find for me that I am a lot more relaxed when I'm reading. I just enjoy my day a lot more. Partially because I think I spend so much time like editing and stuff and just like on my phone for work that I genuinely just like want to be unplugged, but it is a hard habit to break. So that's what we're gonna do this week. Join me if you guys want to do this like as well. Just literally, it's so easy to figure out like your screen time. I'm not gonna do it for the week. I think I'm just gonna do it until I get to the 7 hours and 40 minutes. So maybe I'll get to that by tomorrow. Maybe I'll finish that by today. I don't know. Granted, it is almost 5 o'clock, so it would be really hard to get to that today. But we're going to set a little timer and get to 7 hours and 40 minutes. And maybe I'll do that for like all my apps, like, you know, other things that I use, like Instagram. Ooh, Instagram is pretty high. Instagram is pretty high, but maybe in the future I will like tackle that and like do that a little bit less. But we're gonna go read outside. I brought 2 books with me, but I think I'm going to read just the one, maybe. Depends on my mood. I came out to my little favorite area to like read outside. I also brought my swimsuit, so I might like switch into that and just like lay out. We'll see whenever we get out there. I read so much yesterday, and it's the perfect example of like how I could be reading more instead of scrolling on my phone, because I think I read more yesterday than I've read any like day at all. Yesterday was Sunday, and I read 6 hours and 2 minutes total. I read some this morning too, because you guys know I like to read at 5 a.m. every morning. If you guys want to see a vlog of me reading at 5 a.m. And how I like to do that, let me know. But this is where we're at with the timer. We've gotten pretty far. I'll probably end up reading a little bit more later, just because it's been like so nice just like using my like time reading instead of scrolling on TikTok. I am partially through The Phantom Limb. I started reading this and then I stopped and started another book. This one is really good. I got to page 89 and I love Lucinda Berry's books so much. I've read, I think, 2 or 3. I think I've read 3 of her books. They're very fast paced. If you like Frida McFadden's thrillers, you will definitely like Lucinda Berry's thrillers, and I think she also has a new book coming out this year. Yeah, I can't even remember what the name is called. Now I need to like look it up because I feel like I'm just like always trying to stay on top of new releases, and I usually try to keep them in my Amazon cart just to like remember what's coming out, but I usually don't buy them there. I'll like buy them on bookshop.com or something like that. She has a book coming out, and then there's another book coming out. It's called Innocent Intent by Casey Mills. I've never read that or read anything from that author, but she's a Black author. And it says, when a wife becomes the prime suspect in her husband's murder, this criminal psychologist must forget everything she thought she knew in order to clear her name. I mean, oh, it says it's a debut psychological thriller, perfect for fans of Shanora Williams' The Wife Before. I feel like this is gonna be really good. I definitely wanna buy it. It just came out. I feel like I've heard of Casey Mills before. I don't know. I don't think I definitely am gonna have to buy this. I need to add this to my cart because I always love supporting Black authors, but I also feel like it's nice to read books from thriller authors that you're new to like reading, because I feel like the writing of thriller like authors is really what can take like the story over the edge. For me, I love Frida McFadden's writing because it's fast-paced. I love Lucinda Berry's writing because it's fast-paced. Honestly, fast-paced thrillers are like my thing. Like they don't have to have too much like thought or depth. I just want fast-paced. I want like a quick hook, and I want usually like a twist or something at the end. The book that's coming out by Lucinda Berry comes out July 23rd, and it's called If I Tell You, or If You Tell a Lie. And this one, it says, best-selling author Lucinda Berry serves up a haunting thriller about four friends sworn to secrecy over the events of one fateful summer and the dark truths that threaten to erupt years later. And it's told in dual timelines, so I think you get like multiple people who were maybe like keeping the secret. That looks good, and I'm definitely gonna be buying that. I hope that her book comes out in Barnes. I feel like a lot of her books I don't normally see in Barnes, so it'll be interesting to see if it like is if it comes out in Barnes or not. I did end up finishing When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. Loved this book. If you liked the book, what was it called? Oh my gosh, it's something strangers thriller. No One's a Stranger. No, that's not it. Oh, what's it called? I know, it's literally on the tip of my tongue. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go find it because it's like on my shelf and tell you like what it's similar to, but it reminded me so much of that book. This book is pretty much a thriller, but it centers on like gentrification in a Brooklyn neighborhood. I feel like if you are Black or just like recognize the struggles that Black people go through, this book will be very, very chilling to you. Like, I literally mouth open, gasping, like I just was scared, shaking, like the whole book. I will say that it's not one of those thrillers that's like super like fast. It's not slow, but it's definitely not like one of those thrillers that like is like this, you know what I mean? There is definitely intricate detail, but I think it's because of the topic that they're touching on. Oh my gosh, this book is so good. I can't believe that this is the first book that I've read by Alyssa Cole. She's an incredible thriller author. 4 stars for me. Really, really love this one. I definitely will be reading more of her books, and I saw one of her books in the library. Now that makes me want to pick up that book. Again, I feel like if you are like, I don't know, if you liked the movie Get Out, you know, like the concept of that, it was very unique. If you like the movie Get Out, I think you'll like this book. If you didn't like that movie, you probably won't enjoy this book. I'll say that. I love Get Out. That movie is like so creepy to me. And anything by, what's his name, Jordan Peele, like anything by him, I will literally watch. If you like his stuff, you will like this. It gives that vibe. Really, really, really love this one. And I don't really rate like thrillers more than 4 stars. Most thrillers I'd say are like 3, 3.5. Frida McFadden's like Never Lie was 4-star thriller for me. A lot of Lucinda Berry's books are 4-star thrillers for me, but again, most thrillers are just like mid because like I feel like I don't connect with the characters as much because, I mean, for good reason, like you don't know who's good or bad, so you kind of have to like be on the outs the whole time. I will say the main character in this book was very irritating, but I think that made the book more like enjoyable because she was a very like normal character. So yeah, love that book. Then I started No Exit by Taylor Adams. I read The Last Word by this author, and this one is good so far. I'm not super far into it. I'm only on page 168. I don't know if you guys are like this, but I'm a big like flip the corner of the page type of person. Comment below if you're that type of person or if you like bookmarks instead, but I literally don't care. I'll bend a book. I will, like I was talking to Kalila whenever we were in New York, and she's like, I saw in one of your videos you were reading like this. And I was like, oh yeah, like I do that all the time. Like I want my books to be well loved. Like I will squish them around like they're mine, you know what I mean? And I like for them to be well loved. So yeah, this says 13 hours, 4 strangers, 1 missing child, no exit. She knows her odds, she'll fight anyway. So this is, I think, set over just like a little over, not a full day, but like obviously 13 hours. And each chapter is like a timestamp. So you kind of see like what happens within that time. One thing that I don't really care for with Taylor Adams' writing is that he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. Like most of his books are like inner monologue, and you guys know how I am about dialogue. Like I literally need it. So that's the only thing, but I feel like his books are chilling, like very like edge of your seat. Like I could not read The Last Word by this author at night because it was so scary. So yeah, I am really enjoying it so far. Don't really know like where I'll rate it yet because I'm so like just getting into it again, not even at 100 pages. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. And then I am at 87 or 89 pages on this, but I have an hour and 40 minutes still to read today. So I think that I'm gonna go to maybe a coffee shop, read for a little bit there, and just like bop around town for a bit and yeah, do some like stuff like that. But I'll probably do that like a little bit later. I want to show you guys that book that I was talking about first. This is the book I was talking about that it reminds me of. I read this forever ago. I think it was like over a year ago. And I really enjoyed it. The writing style isn't similar at all, but like the content reminds me so much of like a Get Out like movie that I just had to like compare it to this book, because this book is very similar to that. Again, I read this like forever ago, but I was on the edge of my seat with this one in the sense of it being like so unique and a very different storyline, and definitely pertains to like things that Black and brown people go through. So yeah, this one was eerie too. I have about 100 pages left of this, and I'm pretty close to being done with this challenge here. I'm trying to get the time so you guys can see it. I have like 20 minutes left. Can you guys see that? It's kind of blurry, but hopefully you guys can see. I definitely am surprised by this book because I've heard so many people talk about this book. I've heard everyone say this book is good. I've heard like everything under the sun. Now I read The Last Word by this author. Really enjoyed it. It was a 4-star read for me. This book, I'm like very, very, very pretty positive that it's gonna be a 1-star. And the reason for that is literally because there are so many slurs in this book. And to me, like having an author who is a white male just feel like so comfortable writing that just sits with me weird, like very weird. And I mean, I do get that like as an author, you're wanting to have the reader better understand like the characters that you're writing. Like you want them to know that this is like a vile, horrible person. You can literally do that without using slurs. I mean, they use the R word, they use slurs against people in the Asian community, they use the N word, like nothing is hyphenated, nothing is like reference. It's like, it's there. And I just don't feel like the reasons why the author used those slurs really even adds that much to the story. So to me, I'm like, are you just doing that for fun? Like it just was and is weird to me. And I also think it's like weird that I've seen so many people who've been obsessed with this book, but I haven't heard people talk about that. And part of me is like, do you not recognize that that's weird? Like, or do you not recognize that that's like you don't have to write that? Like, so one of the references, like whenever the N-word is used one time, the character is like making a joke and like trying to like make people laugh at this like really terrible joke. You could have easily used a joke that does not use the N-word, but also like really references the Black community in a negative way, and like I would have been fine with that. Like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have been like obsessed with you like making this joke for really like no reason, but I would have like been like, okay, that's fine. But this book, like, there are so, I mean, the slurs against the Asian community are used like from pretty much the very beginning all throughout the entire book. And at one point, like the character says like, oh yeah, you know, like the slur against like Asian people, that's what I'm like referring to. And it's like, yeah, we get it. Like, we know what you're talking about. But even you as the author sharing that, the character is sharing that with the reader, I'm like, it's not even, you don't even like know, like, you know that it's like a slur. Like, you don't have to use that. It just felt like, feels weird. So anyway, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna rate this 1 star. Like, it just, I don't like that. I even have a hard time with like historical texts and like things being referenced in like older books and stuff, but like still sometimes I'll be like, well, you know, the author during that time, like, they didn't know that maybe it was a slur, or maybe they did, but it wasn't as like people weren't as educated as they are now. Like, this author, you know what you're doing. I don't like that. I literally don't like that. So anyway, I have like 100 pages left. I have like 20 minutes left of this challenge, so I'm gonna finish out the challenge and then give you guys like a little review of this book. I think I might go outside and actually read for a little bit just to finish it up there. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling about this one so far. Reading a little bit more than 7 hours and 40 minutes because I wanted to finish No Exit before this video was over, but I did end up finishing it, and I finished when no one is watching. I'm definitely going to do this like challenge again. It is wild. Like, you guys know that I have been very like open about how I'm like, I've been so busy, like I haven't had time to like read, like, and even when I wake up at 5 a.m, like I have been finding myself just like, I don't know, getting on my phone and like immediately working. But I also have to be so real with myself about how much I scroll as well. Like, obviously working like on social media, you do like work and like post things and stuff like that, but I feel like I will get into this spiral of just like, instead of picking up a book, I just immediately pick up my phone, I start scrolling. It's just like a literal habit, and it is wild how I finished this many books in literally a few days, like literally 2 days. It is so wild to me. So if you guys needed like something that is going to give you motivation to read more, I definitely would say time yourself. Also look at your screen time and see what your screen time is, and maybe like read similar to those amount of hours. Because if you have time like to have that amount of screen time, you do have that amount of time to read. Like, you literally do. And there are so many avenues for reading, so that if you, let's say, like maybe you're scrolling and you're at work or something, like you probably can't read a physical book at work, but you can definitely listen to an audiobook. You can definitely read a physical book in your like break room. Honestly, you could probably read on your phone, like read Kindle on your phone if you're scrolling on your phone, you know what I mean? So I definitely encourage you to look at your screen time. Obviously 7 hours and 40 minutes was for the full week. So if I break that up into like each day, I think that's what, like 2 point something or other, like 2.8, 2.5, like I don't know, somewhere in there, hours a day. Still, that is wild. Is that even right? Yeah, is that right? I feel like that's off. I don't know. You guys know I'm not the queen at math, but I definitely want to be more conscious of like reading versus scrolling, and I definitely want to do more videos like this because this really was like the best challenge like I have probably ever done. So no exit, still going to stand at 1 star. I will say that I will never look at a nail gun the same again. This is a very graphic book, and honestly this book to me leaned more into horror than it did thriller. Like this was way more graphic than the last word by this author. And I don't read horror books. Like I just don't. Like I feel like the gore, the graphicness, the blood and guts, like I don't really enjoy that. So this was definitely like not my favorite in that aspect. And then obviously you guys know like what I've shared already about like slurs and things. Did not enjoy that either. But also the pacing of this book was fast paced, but there was like no dialogue. Like it was all like inner monologue, and it was kind of like that in the other book, but I just kind of was more interested in that one. I think because it's still set over a day, but like they were kind of like moving more. Like she got out of the house, like she was in the house. This is like they're pretty much in one like location for almost the entire book, and then towards the end of the book they're in like a different location. So I just was kind of like getting like, come on, let's do something here. Let's move. Like I need a change of scenery. So again, 1 star. I'm sure someone else is gonna like it. It just wasn't for me. If you're a horror person, if you don't care about people using racial slurs, and if you don't really care about having dialogue in your books, you'll probably like this. I don't know. It wasn't for me. Again, it was definitely a unique concept. The story was different than, actually I wouldn't even say it was that unique because the story wasn't, like it was like about a girl being kidnapped and like another girl trying to save the girl who's being kidnapped. So that's not really like super unique, but yeah, so I don't know. Wasn't a fan of that one, but this one, so good. So good. I cannot wait to read more from this author. This author really surprised me. I feel like I have a hard time picking up thrillers by authors that I've never read from before, and I think it's mostly just because I'm a creature of habit. Like if I go to like a place to eat, I almost always get the same order just because I know that I like it, you know what I mean? So it's like if I'm gonna go, I'll just get what I like. And so I'm the same with authors. I have a hard time branching out because I'm like, I know I love these authors. Why would I read, like when I'm in a thriller mood, why would I read something other than an author that I already love? So I don't know, I feel like this for me was definitely a really like fun surprise. And honestly, what made me pick up this book was I made a video over on Instagram sharing books by Black authors that are like thriller authors, and I shared books that you won't want to put down, books that something else, and then like the last little like section that I shared was like books that are on my TBR, and this was one of the books that's on my TBR. I shared like 3 that are on my TBR that I want to read, and so many of you were like, oh my god, you have to pick it up, it's so good, like I couldn't put it down, like it's really good, like you'll love it. So literally you guys were the reason that I like wanted to pick this up. Definitely head over to Instagram and TikTok if you guys want more like content that is like fun, positive, bookish related. I hang out there a ton, and I would love to see you guys over there as well as on Love You Most Pod. And yeah, I will see you guys in another video. I definitely going to be doing more like this, maybe like some that are like getting through my TBR, more videos where I'm gonna like time myself reading and stuff because this obviously worked. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye guys.